Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am sorry for the slight delay and the replaying of the music. Um, Today we are back again with the debacle that we left off last week with. That would be the video from Louder with Crowder where the CEO, and yes, I'm getting that correct now, the CEO, Gerald, was basically impugning the integrity of everyone that has ever spoken out against Steven Crowder. And last week we showed exactly what they're doing. But before we get into that, I am going to go ahead and introduce our hosts. First up, as always, we have our dirty Frenchy Frenchman from the Soviet state of Kanukistan, Dale. Please say good evening, Dale.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be here, and welcome to the show.
And then, of course, we have our roughneck, redneck, southern asshole, Stoner. Please say hello, Stoner.
Greeting from your favorite asshole.
And then from 2 states south of Stoner, we, of course, have Liz, a new host. Please say hello, Liz.
Hi, it's nice to meet everyone.
Okay, and with that, I want to do a short recap. Last week we covered Jared Monroe's video. We also, at the start of the podcast, started with the video of Crowder interacting with his wife on a Ring camera and breaking down how abusive that interaction was. And from the discussion that me and Liz had yesterday, apparently she found it very entertaining that me and Dale kept bringing up that she was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Kind of as a dig to Steven.
Yes, very much so.
I particularly found it endearing when you pointed out that no 8-month pregnant woman was stepping out. I've been 8 months pregnant, and I don't think that I thought about sex after 7 months pregnant. By 8 months pregnant, all I thought about was, when does this thing come out of me? Is it soon? God, I hope it's soon. And that was just like my basic thought process until my water broke. And then it was, oh no, this thing has to come out of me. So,
Listen, once you pass that 30-week mark, it's just, I am tired. I want this thing out of me. Get it the fuck out.
I was composing poems about her eviction.
Very entertaining. With all of that said, of course, we left off in the about 1/3 of the way through the Louder with Crowder response video. And I need to bring that up for everyone here because I'm an idiot. Okay, and we left off at 12 minutes and 39 seconds. So let's go ahead and get that playing.
So that we can put pressure on him. Doesn't matter if these things are true or not. People are going to run with it because, hey, Steven Crowder tells some jokes sometimes that offend people. So they're going to run with it and they're going to put pieces out.
Gerald. Poor, sweet Gerald. I have never been offended by Steven Crowder's jokes. I have never been offended by your jokes. I find your behavior and your accusations offensive.
In the newspaper. And then when the pressure is so much, when we have wrecked his life enough, at the right time, and I quote, bring it back up, at the right time, Mark, referring to Hilary's first divorce attorney, will show SC the path to make it all go away.
Okay, let's see if I can make this bigger video. Zoom.
I haven't watched a lot of Steven Crowder, and by that I mean any. So I wasn't aware that he had a sense of humor until right now.
He can be funny sometimes, from what I've seen. Sometimes being the operative word in that sentence.
When he floats into my ecosystem, it's always check out what this asshole said. But I don't recall it ever being like a joke, because I tend to give comedians more leeway and or complete disregard.
Okay, so I'm trying to read this. It says, good morning. Yesterday, Hilary and I met with the attorney Mark and his team for 1 hour. In response to very specific questions, here is my takeaway from that meeting. Please take the time to read and thoughtfully consider as we advise Hilary today during the mediation. Hilary's choice of domicile and custody will be an uphill battle, but is certainly a possible outcome. The longer the divorce proceedings go on, the worse the outcome for Steven Crowder. Any agreement for temporary custody will become a marker and set a standard for permanent custody. Mark is okay if no agreement is reached today, and we walk away. The trial may go on for a year or more if Steven digs in. Psychological evaluation of Steven Crowder could be a 6-month process. During that time, other productive legal work go forward simultaneously. Developing damaging PR assets should be pursued. That deliverable, it is up to us, not the legal team. At the right time, Mark will show Steven Crowder the path to make it all go away. The judge who slapped Steven down and issued the visitation order will be the judge if this goes to trial. Okay, so let me go ahead and break that down a little bit. The longer the proceedings go on, and the more that Steven drags this out, the worse he's going to look in front of the judge.
Right.
Which is generally a good thing, I'd think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this almost seems like standard legal advice. It doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary for this sort of case written in that document.
Let's see. Other news, Blank and I put an offer on a house for Hilary near her friend. Our offer was cash and $30,000 over asking. We were outbid with several other cash offers. I am working with the realtor today trying to see if we can find a nice apartment in the same vicinity. Finally, Hilary and I really like your strategy of selling a vision to Steven Crowder of you raising the... Oh, what is that?
Clearly, it was just coincidental that they made this text too small for a normal person to read.
Yeah, I'm still working on getting the actual legal documents, but I want to go back to the beginning of this video and point out something very specific. You might suggest to Mark that this vision is the opening theme, in the hope of starting off with something both parties agree on. Seems like this would be a test case scenario for the children. And that part is the same as the part in the middle, but is completely different from the part on the right. And the two blue highlights down here, one is from the right and one is from the left and the middle. Mark that down, 1314. Because we need to come back to that. I want to point something very specific out about this video when he's talking about what they're showing.
The show today for about a week. We didn't choose this. It was chosen for us. In fact, as I'll tell you in just a few minutes, we went to great lengths to give people... For the last year and a half, everything you've seen in the public eye has been part of a well-orchestrated plan. What is that plan? To assimilate damaging PR assets and wage a negative publicity campaign against Stephen.
It's coming up.
I'll show you the quotes. I'll show you the text messages. I'll show you everything. All of the stuff that we did not talk about because we were giving people the opportunity to do the right thing. Taking the hits, taking the hit pieces, dealing with all of it to give people the opportunity to do the right thing. They chose not to. I wonder why Jared decided to release his video yesterday. So when he released his video, get into the timeline of
Trying
that.
to find it.
But Tuesday, March 26th was the day that he chose to release his video. I wonder if it had anything to do. If you want to do some research on how many days it normally goes on during divorces, you can. It's not.
And mediation normally takes 3 days. Mediation also only normally takes 3 days because most couples that require mediation don't have any fucking assets.
Is mediation the same as arbitration, or is it a different thing?
No, it's completely different. So when you file for divorce, what generally happens is, one, the judge is going to ask if there's any possibility for reconciliation. If there's not, then the judge is going to ask whether or not you need mediation. Mediation is generally, there's a mediator appointed by the court to come in and sit down with both parties and try to work out an agreement.
I'm curious, what happens if the answer to that question of if there's any chance for reconciliation is yes? Does the case then not proceed, or?
It does not proceed. Generally, the court will ask for couples therapy. But obviously this is not the case.
Right.
At least not here.
Not 5. Here's the timeline. On October 27th, 2023, we filed our original Rule 202 petition. At that time,
Yeah, I know.
he chose not to. Around 6 years of no communication. March 15th, that 202 expired for a lawsuit that didn't even exist. To be a part of this scheme, to leverage the company as part of this long-standing plan. And I'm going to say it over and over again to make sure you guys understand. We've been living with this for the last year and a half.
It's coming
The plan
up.
is to assimilate
I swear
damaging
it
PR
is.
assets and wage a negative publicity campaign against Stephen. Per Hilary's father. Here come the receipts. I hate being in this position, guys. It gives
No,
me
you
no
don't.
pleasure to go down this road.
Yes, it does.
I am being forced to go down this road by their
No,
actions
you're not.
to defend this company, to defend the over 30 employees that work for this company. I am not a guy that picks a fight.
Yes, you are.
But if you tell me by your actions, by ignoring easy off-ramps, easy opportunities to do the right thing, that you are not going to stop coming after me and coming after this company and coming after the employees.
They're not coming after you. They're coming after Stephen, Gerald. As they should.
That work here and that put blood, sweat, and tears into this business, if you tell me my choice is to fight you or let them be taken out, I am absolutely going to step up and fight for them. Every time. We tried to do this the right way. It's frustrating for me. But you need to know the truth, and that's what's coming out today. All of this information's publicly available. Court documents, not opinion.
Okay. That's what I wanted you to hear. Court documents, not opinion. Okay, but these court documents are filings from you, well, from Stephen Crowder, attached to his fucking opinion. He's using this as an opinion. When you go in front of a court, there are matters of law and there are matters of fact. If you have to take it to trial, those pleadings of fact are decided on by the jury. And those pleadings of law are decided by the judge. So just because you bring something to a court and possibly to a trial doesn't mean it's fact when it's surrounded by opinion. It just means that, hey, there's something here and we believe this is what it says. When it could say something completely fucking different. That's a matter of fact that has to be decided on by a fucking jury, especially when the two parties that take a look at the same fucking documents say, no, this is this matter of fact. And the other party says, no, it's this matter of fact. So you can go fuck yourself, Gerald.
What I can't get over is how he sounds like he's taking a bullet at the cash register for his employer. Like, it's got that same, why are you doing this energy?
Okay, and just to be clear, before I go any further, I want to correct what I said in the last episode. Stephen Crowder is no longer the CEO of Louder with Crowder.
Was he ever the CEO, or has Gerald always?
He was the CEO. He stepped down.
Oh.
But Gerald is now the CEO. And the divorce case is not the only case that has been brought against Hilary or that involves Hilary. Louder with Crowder themselves, the company, is suing Hilary Crowder.
What are they suing her for?
I don't fucking know. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and go back to where we were at 13 minutes and 14 seconds. 13 minutes, 12 seconds.
See the path to make it all go away. They both want money, maybe fame. They don't care if it's at the expense or well-being of the children or the family or if...
No, Gerald, you showed the screenshots, but you didn't put it into context. She wants more freedom. She wants more time with her kids. It's not a problem It's not an issue of money. It's an issue of time with her fucking children. Your friend wanted to give her only 81 days and say that $5 million is worth missing 3/4 of your kid's childhood. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't take $500 million to miss 3/4 of my daughter's childhood. So you can sit on it and spin, Gerald.
Also, I think you pointed out last week that Steven Crowder is not going to spend all the time he demanded with the kids actually with them. Like, they're going to be with like a nanny or something. So she's like fighting for her kids to have access to a parent that cares too, because you know he's going to hand them off on like the nearest person.
And it was brought up by someone else, and we're going to cover it, but there was a period of time after she gave birth to the kids that there was a nanny around a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
So-
It's called postpartum depression.
I think it should also be noted that, at least publicly, I have no idea how true this is, but Stephen had stated multiple times on his show before he had kids that he didn't want kids and that this was causing an issue in the relationship with his now ex-wife. So
And now he wants the kids 3/4 of the fucking year.
Exactly. Rather suspicious.
But that's like a classic abuser move to pull. Of like,
Bingo.
no, look, I'm being reasonable. I gave you a little bit of time with the kids. Like, gosh, why can't you just admit that I should have them?
Well, and that's what I bring up a lot when I'm talking about government with people. The people who scream, "What about the children?" You know, up on the stage, you know, congressmen and women, senators, the president. That's an emotional abuse sort of thing. That is what spousal abuse looks like. That is exactly what spousal abuse is. Oh, you think you can take care of the kids? Who's got the money? It doesn't matter about the money. I make shit compared to Steven Crowder. I'm still taking care of my fucking daughter. I don't have to make a shit ton of money to love my fucking kids. And the fact that you think it takes a lot of money to love your fucking kids tells me you don't understand anything about love.
There's a really weird societal undercut or undertone about having money and therefore being worthy of children. And you can see it in like the adoption industry where they tell single mothers, oh, you shouldn't have to take care of that kid by yourself. You should give them to a better family who's more able to take care of your child than you, which is like just code for like somebody who has more money than you usually. And anyway, that's what you said reminded me of that.
Okay, let's continue, Gerald.
If they do, they're hiding that fact very well. And look, based on what we've discussed, they don't believe that Mug Club should even exist because it should all belong to them.
That's not at all what they've said.
Having an undercover unit? No. That money belongs to Hilary. Going out and getting these documents released so you guys could know what's going on about the Nashville Manifesto, about the Chippewa Falls stuff that we've revealed and the other stories that we are working on right now? No, it belongs to them.
Again, not at all what they've said.
Nope.
Being able to bring in additional people to carry the load here? No, belongs to them. This is the through line with every single point. And this is something new. Not new to us, but new to you.
Huh?
I said, once again, she's not suing the company, so the company should... being able to bring more people on is not a thing from Steven's personal finances. The company's not being sued, so that shouldn't have any bearing whatsoever on whether they can hire more people as a company.
Yeah. In fact, the company is suing her, and she has made no claims to ownership of the company in the lawsuit or in the divorce.
Yes. The only thing I think that the company is involved that has claims made against it is for the invalidation of a bullshit NDA, of which that's not a monetary claim. I mean, they're not being sued to take money from the company, just to invalidate an NDA. A very bullshit NDA at that, as we went over
Last
week.
Uh-huh.
And if the company is worried about the financial costs of that lawsuit, they could just agree to terminate the NDA, but they're not.
And I want to tell you this from the perspective of somebody who hates to have to do this.
You don't
I
hate
do
it.
not in any way want to be in the position that I am in right now, having to react to people's bad decisions, but I don't have any other choice because
You have chosen this position because Crowder is your friend, and you will follow his cult of personality to your death.
it has been made clear by their actions over the last year and a half plus that there is no other way to say, guys, stop what you're doing. You have to quit. You have to do the right thing. You have to honor your agreements. Hilary is not doing that. And so this company is suing Hilary for extortion against us. We filed a lawsuit against Hilary, her family, and media reps for tortious interference and their extortion conspiracy scheme, which I will lay out in detail.
There's no extortion.
No. You can't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't extort someone by suing them, can you? Doesn't seem to make sense.
Extortion
is a criminal act. Not a civil.
Extortion is a criminal act, and it requires that Hilary know of crimes committed by LwC and holding those crimes over their head in order to get something in return. Tortious interference is just a claim that, hey, you've damaged our business. Wrongfully damaged our business. But none of what she ever said was directed at the company. It was always directed at Stephen.
Right, and my understanding is if there was going to be a claim for damaging of Stephen's brand, that would fall under defamation, not interference with business. And the fact that they're not pursuing any sort of defamation case, I think makes it obvious that none such a case could not be made.
Uh-huh. So they're going with the broadest definition of tortious interference, and they're not really going to get away with it in a court of law. But they're going to try to bury her in legal fees, which just lends more credibility to Jared.
Yep.
I take no pleasure in that. I wish everybody would go and just do the right thing and we could all get on with our lives. And you can tune into this show and see updates about news, comedy, everything that you love about this show. Additional content from great people that you love to hear from.
I don't love to hear from any of you people anymore.
I can't do that today. I hope we can get back to doing that very soon. In fact, we will tomorrow. But I hope we never have to address this kind of stuff again. I hope people understand that we're serious. We will defend the people that are here in this company. Let's talk about some things that you know and maybe some things that you don't know. So, one of the things you know, the ring footage, right? Everybody remembers that?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yes, I remember the ring footage, and I'm going to go over my skepticism on the ring footage.
My machine just froze.
Going out at all or no?
We're still going out.
All right.
It's just stuck
Okay.
on your camera.
Stuck on me.
now.
You know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
That's where we need to be right now.
Yeah.
Just going to talk you guys through this. Here's what you know. Ring footage that was sent out that tried to portray Stephen in a very negative light, having an argument with his wife.
Successful.
Stephen admitted.
Say again?
I said successfully portrayed him in a negative light, not attempted to.
He's
Very
not a
successfully.
perfect guy.
I'm about to get into my skepticism on this. I just want him to finish this thought.
There are definitely faults. Arguments happen. People always say stuff that they wish they could either take back or was taken out of context.
No, people don't always say stuff that they wish they could take back. And in fact, I am very careful with my words as to make sure that I don't ever want to take them back. That's called... Can anyone guess what it's called?
Being an adult?
Yes, but it's called being thoughtful. My mouth does not form words before my mind has thought them through.
Text in arguments. But here's what you don't know.
Oh, hey, there's Molly. Hi, Molly.
Hey, sorry about that.
And there's Dale again.
Yep.
Things freeze up for you?
Yeah. So Molly DM'd me. Then I checked that. And as you know, with Discord, as soon as I leave the stream, I then have to disconnect it from that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're about to get into the ring footage claims.
Hilary deleted all of the other footage from that house on the ring cameras and the lake residence when a court expressly barred her from doing so. How many hours? Over 2,000 hours. Also, 8,000 hours never even handed over, along with 18 seconds from the doctored video itself. A note, Substack video had small portions that were not even included in the court-issued videos, which means that it came from some other source. You can do the math. This was all a part of the plan that we talked about.
Okay, so now I'm going to get into my skepticism about this. Crowder is very much so pro-small government. Or at least he's portrayed himself as very pro-small government, which would at least suggest that he's very skeptical of government and very much so pro-private companies that will protect your privacy. Up until the start of this year, Amazon has had a very cooperative relationship with the U.S. government, in which they would turn over any and all ring footage that was asked for by a court. Not even by a court, but by any executive authority. So FBI, CIA, any local agency asking for it, they'd hand it over. Up until this year, where their policy changed and they said, okay, we're not doing that without a subpoena. Which, good on them for correcting their policy, but the fact that that footage could have been asked for by any government agency and Amazon would have just turned it over, that tells me that Crowder was probably only using that for cloud storage of event videos. And this is why I brought up automation last week at the start of the episode. So, Ring camera footage is only held for 180 days, which means there's a possibility of a total of a little over 4,000 hours that can be stored on the cloud. However, Ring camera footage does not work that way. An event is triggered, and it will record for a certain period of time. On top of that, cameras inside the house shouldn't be picking up most events. It shouldn't be picking up recognized faces. It shouldn't be picking up animals. None of that. Except for in certain circumstances where you're away from the home. So, claiming that there's more than 8,000 hours available tells me that it wasn't stored on a cloud server. There is a independent network access storage that is taking the recordings of these videos. Now, I know how I would manage that. And I know that Crowder has the finances to have his own team at Louder with Crowder manage that. The way it would work is you'd have a server stack with at least 3 NAS machines of at least 80 terabytes each. And every day, what would happen is there'd be a snapshot of that data. That snapshot would get stored on a cloud server or just a small machine that turns on and turns off. And then that day's recordings would be recorded to hard laser media. So HD DVD, Blu-ray disc, something. And those would get stored away in a lockbox, a safe, or even a security deposit box at like a bank or a third-party storage facility. And then, of course, you have the cloud storage, which records just normal Ring camera footage. But in order to have cameras that will interface both with Ring and with an independent home NAS, you have to have third-party cameras. You can't have Ring cameras because these third-party cameras, or these Ring cameras, will not record to your NAS.
Right. That's unfortunate.
So you have to have a third-party set of cameras, and you have to backdoor the cameras into the Amazon Ring system, which is very doable. I've already found a way to do it, and I'm going to be doing it with my own home. But that's the only way that there could be 8,000 plus hours of Ring camera footage, is if it's on a local network access storage server. And if it is, Hilary didn't have access to it. But you know who did?
David.
Bingo! And I know that me and Liz have talked about this. I don't think he would use a third-party service. I think he would have it done in-house.
What's Hilary's background? Like, is she some kind of tech expert? Because he is essentially telling us that whatever security measures he has in place, that his wife easily overcame them and was able to delete stuff. And that sounds fishy just on its own, logistics aside.
I honestly don't think she's ever done much in the way of a career besides being an accountant for Louder with Crowder. Mind you, a lot of the claims that have been made are that she wants money, that she's been unemployed, and that she was unemployed during the time between having her kids and leaving Steven, which is the reason why they brought up a nanny. But the fact of the matter is, since she became pregnant with Steven's twins, she no longer worked elsewhere. She has only done accounting for Louder with Crowder. And so most of the time that the nanny was with the kids was when she was doing the books for the company. And she took no fucking salary. Mind you, he's paying his parents. He's paying himself. He's paying his staff.
Sorry, how much time was Steven Crowder, spending with the kids to alleviate working with twins all day? Because the only time that Hilary was getting off was when she hired a nanny and she's got fucking twins. That sounds about right.
Yeah, probably not. And I bring up the fact, not only was there a nanny, she wasn't getting time off. She was working as the accountant for LwC, which means she went from home to work and back home. And the only time the nanny, I would expect, was with the twins was when she was at work, where she didn't draw a fucking salary.
Oh, that's bullshit. And then they talk shit about her because of it.
Yeah. They would not pay her for her labor. But Steven is paying his fucking parents out of the company coffers, and they're not doing jack shit.
So what's his excuse for not paying an employee?
I don't fucking know. That's the problem. If you want, listen, Dale, we were talking about extortion. If you want extortion, there it is. But it's already out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
It's already out in the fucking open. We already know that he wasn't paying her. And that's fucking illegal. It doesn't matter if she's an employee or a contractor. If you're a company, you cannot take labor from someone without paying them for their fucking labor. This is why family restaurants get shut down more often than not, is because they're trying so hard to pay everyone else that they're not paying their kids that are working at the restaurant. But hey, you got to fucking pay your kids. Even if it's just minimum wage.
Yeah, this is some real shit, though. Like, I feel so bad for her because not only did she do the work, but the work that she did wasn't paid. And then the fact that it wasn't paid was held against her again, like they weren't the ones doing something wrong the whole time.
To assemble negative PR assets to wage a PR campaign against Steven to get him to give more. More
time with the kids, not more money. Get it fucking straight, Gerald. I don't want to have to come through my screen and slap you in that stupid face of yours.
Never enough. More. That's right. All the other ring footage from multiple cameras in multiple residences has either been actively destroyed or never even handed over in the first place.
Bullshit.
Here's another thing you know. There are family claims about hardships.
Okay. Twin mom rebuilding from the rubble. This is Hilary's Twitter. Seeking opportunities, looking for work that is remote with flexibility. I am open to anything, particularly work that will allow for me to be present at home with the twins. Thank you in advance to anyone that's willing to help me in this pursuit by sharing this post. I look forward to bringing my diligence, hard work ethic, creativity, and ability to think outside the box into whatever work environment I end up in. I know I may get ripped apart in the comments given that I am the mom of 2 small children. Please be respectful and know that the plan was for our children to have a stay-at-home mother, but unfortunately I have been put in a position where that is no longer possible. Here is my LinkedIn. The email to reach me is hilarycrowder1@gmail.com. If there are any suggestions or opportunities, thank you. And I would suggest all of my hosts go to this post right now, like it, bookmark it, share it, quote tweet it, get her a job. Help her get a job.
We'll make all of this stuff available on our website. I'll make sure you guys have full access to all of this. It's not us. This is court documents. This is stuff that has been filed. Claim hardships. Here's what you don't know. Hilary's getting $25,000 per month.
Hilary's getting $25,000 per month pursuant to a temporary order during the duration of the divorce. Stephen tried to reduce that amount but was unsuccessful. I can barely pay my divorce attorneys, let alone the attorneys in this litigation, with that amount. Remember, this was not child support. This money is going directly to the lawyers. She has no money to live off of. She has to pay off her attorneys, but she has no fucking job. This is legal abuse.
Indeed.
Let's see. So that's number 19 of this document. Let's read through the rest of it from the start. During the course of discovery in the divorce, 2 of my phones were forensically examined and imaged. Stephen received 18,733 pages of my text messages after those forensic examinations. Louder with Crowder, LLC, in its official LLC form, was formed in Texas in 2017. A true and correct copy of the franchise tax account status is attached beneath in Exhibit I or 1C. Then 19, the original thing we read. This lawsuit has been referenced in the divorce proceeding in ways that make the that make me believe this lawsuit is being brought as leverage against me. So this is an affidavit signed by Hilary Crowder on the 24th of January 2024. Presumably filed by her lawyers. But that just leads more credence to the fact that Stephen is doing exactly what Jared is saying he's doing. He's being legally abusive. He's trying to use the law to bleed people dry. He knows he has the money and that they don't.
From Stephen. Per month. $300,000 a year, no taxes held out of it. In Texas, all divorce-related attorneys' fees are paid by the estate. Stephen's the only one actively contributing to the estate right now, so you can do the math there. This is the first time that we know a dime has been spent from Hilary on a lawsuit that isn't coming from the estate, also known as Stephen. I don't like that, but I don't have any other options. Here's something else you don't know. Hilary hired entertainment superstar lawyer Brian Friedman as part of her PR attack against Stephen.
Yeah, and Stephen hired the lawyer that defended Bill Cosby. So fucking what?
Yeah. You hire lawyers if they're good, not if they've won or not if they've defended previously bad people.
Hell, I would hire the lawyer that defended OJ if I thought he could get me out of some legal debacle.
Yeah. It's not a lawyer's job to only defend people who are either innocent or not bad people. And their job is to defend whoever hires them.
Bingo.
I don't know if you guys remember who Brian Friedman is, but he represented Trevor Bauer's false accuser, releasing images that were doctored. What he knew at the time, what he didn't know, still up for a little bit of debate, but it looks like there was some reason to believe maybe this claim wasn't 100% on the up and up.
Okay, so now you're defaming a lawyer.
Not exactly smart.
Trevor's been exonerated. It's been proven that this person lied about all of this.
Good.
Maybe she even lied to Friedman. Who knows? But Friedman was all too willing to rush out and ruin a man's career that I believe had just signed a $100 million contract to play baseball and subsequently lost that contract.
Wait,
Still trying to get back.
A lawyer was all too eager to represent their client? Gasp.
Uh-huh.
How shocking. The lawyer was representing their client.
Back into the major leagues, even though he's a well-accomplished pitcher. Should be on a roster somewhere. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that he was proven right. It just matters that the lie was put out there and that the campaign was waged against him. And Friedman represented the same journalist who leaked the Ring video. Here's something else you know.
Who fucking cares?
Media hit pieces. We all saw that, right, Tim? Hit pieces coming out against us last year. Seemed like seemed like they were planned and orchestrated.
Yeah, they
Come
were one
out.
after the other.
One of the claims was that Stephen had revealed his genitalia to people in the office. We talked about that. We addressed all of that. Here's what
they didn't see our Terminator 2
Terminator 2 sketch,
yeah.
or when you have to wear like really thin garments so that you can be painted gold.
Yeah.
Right? For some of the sketches that we've done. Here's what you don't know. Jared exposed his penis in professional settings to Stephen. When they were at Wham Radio, he would expose himself in a way that only Stephen could see. And then for an hour, Stephen would have to sit there talking to people at the radio station.
Okay, and here, in and of itself, is where basically the NDA becomes null and void. So in contract law, you have what's called consideration. This for that. I will give you this for that. Mm-hmm. In a non-disclosure agreement, basically, the way it works is I will give you this for your silence. As we've already discussed before, non-disclosure agreements around companies generally cover proprietary information.
Yes.
How things are made, that sort of shit. In this sort of case, the non-disclosure agreement would basically have to go two ways for it to be valid. If Jared wasn't getting paid anything for the non-disclosure agreement, then he would have to get something in return. which would mean silence about an incident. If he's showing his dick and that's what he wanted silence about, hey, guess what? The non-disclosure agreement is invalid. But even if that wasn't part of the non-disclosure agreement, if there was no consideration on the part of Louder with Crowder, the non-disclosure agreement is null and void.
So, when I used to work in kitchens, the chefs would play this game with each other where they would show each other their dicks. I hate to bring it back to the crass part of the topic. Do you think that that's what they were doing?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's
But
just
see-
disturbing.
See, the discussion is more so probably about when they lived in Michigan. When Crowder and Jared lived in Michigan and were running this tiny show out of, Crowder's living room.
Mhm.
And it was just the two of them.
I used to live next door to a frat house, and this sounds like shenanigans that dudes get up to.
About the business dealings of the show and not break. And to them, it was funny then and funny now. We're not calling him out for it. We're just saying it seems a bit odd that he was somebody who participated, maybe even started doing it, and then apparently cried foul about it. Here are some other key facts.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it. Dick jokes are only funny for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know
know,
that there's a dick joke in that statement somewhere.
Yes. A dick joke is only funny as long as my dick. There's your dick joke, Dale.
That I want to bring up. And tell me, do you think these facts seem destabilizing to you? And just, first off, just think about that. We want to do things that will destabilize him. We want to put enough pressure on him that he will give us everything that we ask for, and then Mark Scroggins can come in. Their text message guys can come in and show Stephen how to make it all go away. It's exactly what was in the text message. Let's start with Joe Lewis, Stephen's dog. Hilary tried to have Joe Lewis removed.
Okay, the above are schemes that have taken place in the public eye, but not defendants' only attempt to harm Louder with Crowder and impact Louder with Crowder's ability to comply with the terms of the Rumble contract. Defendants have sent Mr. Crowder's private and completely unlisted residential address to a disgruntled former employee to endanger Mr. Crowder's privacy and personal safety. This assumes facts not in evidence. Did the text messages ever say that's what she wanted? Did the text messages ever say that she wanted to endanger Crowder's privacy and personal safety? If they did, I would suspect that you would post the receipts, but you haven't posted the receipts, so I have to conclude that that is false. You're assuming intent, but you have none. It says defendants have also tried to remove Joe Lewis, the beloved Argentinian doggo, from Mr. Crowder's possession by falsely maligning him as a dangerous, aggressive dog based on a completely fabricated history from the previous owner. But the previous owner has since signed an affidavit confirming the defendant's claims about Joe Lewis are conclusively false. Joe Lewis makes regular appearances on Louder with Crowder and is beloved by Louder with Crowder's viewers and fans. Defendants' attempt to remove Joe Lewis was solely to damage Louder with Crowder by removing a well-known and beloved character from Louder with Crowder. Honestly, Yeah, it's a shit attempt when it comes to the dog.
Yeah.
But again, it would probably have more to do with the lawyer making an argument for more custody for Hilary.
Mhm.
It sounds less like Hilary doing this and more like a smart fucking lawyer.
From him. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Falsely claimed that Joe was dangerous, citing the previous owner. The previous owner. Let me just say this. That happened while I was in Steven's office. He got a note saying from Hilary that Joe Lewis was dangerous and needed to be removed from the presence of the children. He almost started crying. She was trying to remove everything from his life to put pressure on him to get more than she would get in court. Thankfully, Stephen was able to contact the previous owner, who signed an affidavit stating that it was not only false, but the exact opposite of what was true in that situation. She also tried to get me to abandon Stephen when she filed for divorce. You heard me correctly. Gerald needs to leave Stephen. I haven't talked to anybody else about that in any detail. As all of this is going on, and this is not part of what I planned on talking about today, guys, but I need you to understand the level of, I don't even know the right word to say, but the crap that we are having to deal with is probably the most polite thing that I can come up with. Can you believe the things that you're hearing? Gerald, in Stephen's moment where he needs his best or one of his best friends to be by his side, Gerald, leave him. There's a campaign to apply pressure. That part, I'm assuming now that I know that that was part of the plan. At the time, it was just Gerald, leave him. Unfortunately, Jared echoed those same comments on one of the most difficult days of Stephen's life, after not really hearing from Jared for a while. I don't remember exactly how long it was. It could have been years. I don't know. I can look back. Leave him. Abandon your friend when he's in need. When everybody agreed that it would be great if Gerald could help with Stephen and help advocate for Stephen and be a sounding board for what's going on in life, to be able to talk to him as I had been doing for many years prior to ever being paid anything to do anything with Stephen. I was his friend before.
Okay. So what you're telling me, Gerald, is that you worked on the show for free. You never got paid for that time. You're just lending more ammunition to Hilary's case. You cannot have employees and not pay them for their time. It's not legal. It's called wage theft. Holy shit. We have only gotten through 12 fucking minutes in the past hour.
Damn. There's that much bullshit from one video alone.
This is why I told you, Stoner, this could probably stretch into 3 fucking episodes.
Wow.
Guess what? I'll be his friend after, if there is an after.
Captain goes down with his ship. I get it. I fucking get it, Gerald. I do. But for Christ's sake, have you ever been on an airplane when they tell you to put on your mask if you're an adult and you have a child, put your mask on first and then help assist the child next to you. You're trying to help Steven, but you need to help yourself. This man gives me a headache. I'm getting a migraine because of these people.
I want to divorce Steven based on this, and he's not even talking.
He can stop paying me today, and it won't change the facts that I have laid out here.
Well, if he stopped paying you today, I hope you'd take your measurable experience in the media industry and go work somewhere else. Because if he stopped paying you, he can't employ you.
And I know exactly what's going to happen. You guys are going to come after me. It's fine. I can handle it. But you're not going to address what I've said that's factually true in court documents publicly available because you can't. It's so clear. Tried to take his dog away to destabilize him as part of the plan. Tried to take me away. I now know that was part of the plan to destabilize him.
Listen, he's already unstable. He was unstable before all of this started. And I will be bringing up the Landau interview with Michael Malice. And I'll be bringing up the interview that someone else, I think it was Camelot 331, had with Quarterblack Garrett.
Is Garrett still there, or did he also leave?
No, he left a long time ago, but him and LwC parted on quote unquote good terms. But he was there when Jared and Sven left, and it wasn't just the two of them that left.
Oh.
Everyone, nearly everyone in that office left the same fucking day. Which is
crazy.
why
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, it's crazy how he values himself when he's like, they tried to steal me. Like, can you believe it? I'm so valuable. And then he's like, I would work for free, which like signifies a lack of self-respect to me. And I find the dichotomy between I'm so valuable, how dare they tried to steal me, and I don't deserve to get paid to be a little bit funny.
Well, and this just lends more to what I've been saying about cults of personality. These people put the cult before themselves. They know that they have value, but they think their value within the cult is less when they know that their worth outside of the cult is more. They can't square that circle.
Then got it echoed by Jared that I should leave him in his darkest potentially hour. When he's fighting for his name, for his reputation, and for his life.
Fighting for his name, reputation, and his life. Listen,
That's
his
a bit
name
hyperbolic.
his name and reputation are trash anyways. They have been for years.
Yeah,
But
his life?
The man's
He's
a
like
fucking
talking
millionaire.
Like he was gonna go up against a firing squad the entire time.
The man's a fucking millionaire, Gerald.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine.
I mean, yeah. What he should do is downsize. I mean, he's got a domicile that is worth millions of dollars. Maybe downsize to something like a $500,000 house, has a room for the kids, has a room for himself, has a living room, has a basement, a nice 1,200 square foot residence, small. That's not a big ask. And hey, just live a simpler life. And then he's got more money to throw at these fucking lawsuits. Fuck.
Here's another thing that you may not know. The address where the children slept part of the time was intentionally doxed. Hilary sent the private and unlisted residential address to Jared. You know how I know it was private and unlisted? Because I was in charge of making sure it was so. Do you know why?
Wait,
To make sure.
Pause there for a second. Doxing is publicly revealing information. It's not sending information to another private person. It's doing it publicly. If I have your address and I send your address to Molly, I didn't dox you. I just sent your address to Molly. I'd have to post it. I'd have to make it publicly available, not privately available to another private individual.
Yes, and let's be serious here. Anyone that knows anything about property knows that you can find out where someone lives by going to the county tax assessor and, looking up a person's name, because that's all public information. If
Is that
you know what
for people who own property, like say for people who just rent, can you still do that, or is that only for the property owners?
You can only do that for the property owners. But here's the thing: if Crowder was smart, he would put the house in the company's name. But the company's name is Louder with Crowder.
Right.
So, assuming that they have multiple properties in the same county, it's just a process of elimination.
Can you put a house, like a residential address, in a company's name?
You can, but there's some tax liabilities that come into play that make things kind of tricky.
In his darkest potentially hour, when he's fighting for his name, for his reputation, and for his life. Here's another thing that you may not know.
Okay, I'm going to show
the address
what
where
it
the
says.
children slept part of the time was intentionally doxed.
Can you read what the potato says?
No.
Watch it. Fucking watch it. And then it gives instructions on how to turn this into a baked potato in the microwave.
Is that supposed to be some sort of symbolism for something?
Yeah. What did Steven say when Hilary tried disengaging in that Ring camera footage?
Right, watch it. Fucking watch it.
Watch it. Watch it. Fucking watch it. Yeah, so the potato is quite literally quoting him and then suggesting that he's a potato.
I agree that he's a potato.
I also agree that he's a potato.
Hilary sent the private and unlisted residential address to Jared. You know how I know it was private and unlisted? Because I was in charge of making sure it was so. Do you know why? To make sure that the kids were safe. Not everybody likes Steven. Some for very good reason. He comes off and he says a joke. Fine. You don't like that? Fine. If you want to use that, great reason. You don't like somebody because of a joke. But a lot of people don't like him because he pushes back on evil. And there are a lot of groups out there that don't like to be called out. And they don't like Stephen, and maybe they would try to do him harm. And so to make sure that his family is protected, he goes through great lengths to make sure nobody knows where he lives. Hilary intentionally doxed it. I won't use the exact words. You can see it in the image. But it's evil. Shortly
It's evil. Okay, so
It's a
you're
tomato.
admitting that he's fucking evil.
Either making a baked potato in the microwave is evil, which it kind of is, or Stephen's quote is evil. Who the fuck bakes a potato in the microwave?
I do. Go fuck yourself.
Really? Terrible.
Yeah, wow. What's with this like anger at microwaves? Sometimes people only have microwaves.
It's an
After Jared
inferior
received-
form of cooking.
Yes, it is an inferior form of cooking, but, and this is the big but, it is fast and efficient when you want to steam something.
Listen, Miss Martha Stewart will agree with me here. If you guys ever go to jail, you'll understand that microwave cooking is its own art form.
Yes, I already know this.
Oh yeah, okay.
I generally don't use the microwave on a daily basis, but I will use it. It has its place in my arsenal of ability to cook.
I'm defending the microwave, but I make damn near everything in the air fryer these days.
I just do everything in the oven.
That's it. The air fryer is basically a little oven.
Yeah, well, it's a convection oven.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't
and
I don't have a convection oven. I just have an oven.
Same. I also do the majority of my cooking in either oven or stove. The wife, though, for some insane reason, microwaves eggs. Something I will never understand.
Because she's from the South, bro. She's from the South.
They do that there.
They do that everywhere. I mean, my father used to do that when I was still going through school. But, yeah, making eggs in the microwave is absolutely fucking fine.
They don't do it where I'm from.
I had no idea people actually did that.
It's
fair
best
enough.
if you only do it with the yolks. The whites get kind of fucky. My dad used to do it with egg beaters.
Received Stephen's personal address from Hilary. Stephen received a threatening message. Package came from Smyrna, Georgia. Didn't say who it was from.
That is not a threatening message. That
It's
is
a
a
quote.
message of levity.
Yes.
It's
Well,
making
actually, no.
fun of him.
It is a threatening message. It's Stephen threatening his wife.
Well, true. So,
It's
I
literally
guess-
just a quote of him threatening his 8-month pregnant wife.
with his twins.
Yes.
But we later found out that that is mere miles from where Jared lives. Again, Jared's probably going to say, oh, come on, it was a joke. Okay. It's an unlisted address. Nobody knows where he lives. You didn't say who it was from. You just said, watch it, effing watch it on there.
Which he said in his video, in that Ring camera footage. I mean, Gerald, get some fucking consistency here.
I know where that came from. The edited video. I get it. The additional context that I'm not even going into today about what happened in that, but I probably will at some point to give you a little bit more insight. Not even close to what you think it means. Hilary admitted it. Have it on tape.
Wait.
Part of public.
Paul. First, he says that was a threatening message from Jared.
Uh-huh.
Then he says that same message wasn't actually as bad as it was when said by Stephen.
Uh-huh.
So which
And
is it? Is it a
he's-
threatening message from Gerald, or is it not a bad message? Is it something not bad at all from Stephen?
And he's trying to claim that Hilary admitted that the context of that video was completely wrong, and that Stephen wasn't threatening her or, wasn't being abusive, but he's not going to go into it.
Of course.
Listen, Gerald, if you were going to make a claim and not back it up, I have to assume that your claim is false.
Mhm.
If you're talking about a deposition and you're saying that the court filing is public, why not release the video deposition?
Mhm.
Plenty of lawyers have done it,
Yep.
and there is no gag order on this divorce.
Mhm. I think it's fairly obvious why. They don't want to look even worse.
Filings. Stephen receives a package at an address that no one is supposed to have, and then wonders, are my children safe? Am I safe?
What, are they
Who
gonna be
leaked this
tarred and
address?
potatoed?
How did this get out?
Say again?
I said, what? Is he afraid that they're going to be tarred and potatoed?
Possibly,
Jared?
but see, here's the thing. I've been doxxed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that the thought of someone coming after me is somewhat frightening. But hey, guess what? I'm armed. Yeah,
Yes.
I have a gun. I have several guns. And I'd assume that since, he keeps a Walther PPK on his fucking desk at work, that he's probably got one or two fucking guns at home.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one within arm's reach at all times.
Most likely.
I don't see a problem with him shooting an intruder.
Nope.
And in the context of the state in which he lives,
They don't see a problem with it either.
not only that, but, castle doctrine is, pretty fucking, pretty wide out in the open.
Yeah.
You remember that case where, an ex-wife and the ex-husband has sent his kids are with their grandmother, and the mother comes to pick the kids up, but the kids aren't back yet, and the new boyfriend of the ex-wife is in an altercation with the ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
The ex-husband brings a rifle out of the house, shoots at the ground, and then shoots and kills him, the new boyfriend.
Yeah.
They said not guilty. He's free. Even though in my eyes that was a bad shoot, state of Texas says it's not. So hey, guess what? You've got more castle doctrine leeway in Texas than in just about any other state.
Yes. Except maybe Florida. Maybe.
No, not even in Florida. Florida's a boomer state. And no, I'm not calling Liz a boomer.
Fair enough.
Listen, I live right next to a retirement community. I know I'm not a boomer. I see them every day.
In their little go-karts or whatever those things are, or golf carts.
And they're golf carts. And, I cannot go 3 blocks without seeing a traffic violation. None of these fuckers can drive worth a shit.
Makes sense.
Well, and on top of that, not only is Florida a boomer state, it's a FUD state. They passed permitless concealed carry, but you still cannot open carry in the state of Florida unless
you're going to or coming back from fishing, hunting, or camping.
bingo. That's bullshit. How do you pass a permitless carry law and not pass open carry?
Because the boomer FUDs are scared of the scary-looking black guns.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Like this state, I come in and out of it, and whenever I live in Florida, the politics have completely changed from the last time I was there. And I just I have no idea what's going on half the time.
The politics change, but the laws never do.
We've got legal weed up on the ballot this next election, and I'm in the medical program, and it is awful. I oversaw a dispensary in Portland, Oregon, when they went from medical to recreational, and I also had my medical card in Pennsylvania, just so when I say that theirs is a disaster, I do know what I'm talking about. I've got reference points.
Oh, wait. Let's try to finish the last 7 minutes of this in the last half hour that we've got.
How would you feel if the person that you had children with leaked your private home address, knowing that the kids would be there during certain times of the week? It's something that I can't even comprehend. Something so reckless.
Again, Gerald, she didn't dox him. She gave someone an address because she was pissed that someone else is coming to her place of residence looking for Steven.
Yes.
I'm guessing he's dating.
Probably.
I want to say a couple of things as I wrap this up. NDAs are a normal part of doing business. You sign an NDA voluntarily. Jared signed his voluntarily, and then he breached it. Didn't have to sign it. Could have left. Could have just left. Could have walked away. Didn't have to sign the exit. He signs it on the way in again. Didn't have to.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Gerald. NDAs on exit tell me that you have something to fucking hide. NDAs on entry, those are standard. NDAs on exit are not. Never have
Technically,
been,
an
never will be.
Technically, an NDA on entrance also means you have something to hide. You just,
It's not shady shit.
yeah, it's just not in a shady manner, right? You just want to protect company secrets.
Sign that either. Never. He voluntarily signed an agreement and then decided to break it. He also lied to you guys and said that I was asking for every single conversation with his friends and that I was telling him that he couldn't contact his friends. No, that's not true. Look at the Form 202 position that we put out there.
The Form 202 position basically asked the court for the power to depose anyone and everyone that Jared has had contact with since leaving your company. And that was granted.
I mean,
To include, go ahead.
Can you just get a court to let you depose anyone someone has talked to since,
Apparently you fucking can, because Louder with Crowder did it. That was a signed order by a judge. Go ahead,
I
Molly.
mean, you know what the thing is though? You can have a fucking thing say on a document, oh, you can't do this So the employer can't do that, but the employer does it regardless behind, closed doors. So like he's saying something, but like it means nothing.
The
Like,
simple fact the simple fact of the matter is that Form 202 that was signed and granted by a judge in Texas was including but not limited to Hilary Crowder, uh, any previous employees that used to work for Crowder, um, any employees working for the Daily Wire, and basically anyone else that Jared has ever had contact with in his time since leaving the company. Someone's getting a fucking call.
yeah, sorry.
Jump out and jump back in.
Okay.
It's this is just, Gerald, you are spinning a web and you're gonna get caught in it.
Yes.
Jared, in that petition, basically like, hey, you have to stop talking about the company. The agreement that you made with us. And that can be as simple, like I said earlier, as making sure no address is divulged to where somebody sleeps with their young children. It's common.
He didn't divulge
I'm not
the address.
restricting your speech, Jared. I simply asked you to honor your agreement that you voluntarily entered into. And you had every opportunity to do the right thing before being sued today. We'll get the lawsuit to you, I promise. And I hate it, man. From the very beginning, I talked to the lawyers about making sure that this cost you as little as possible. You don't know that because you never reached out to me. You just assumed the worst. Assumed that I was bought and paid for by Stephen. I'm bought and paid for by no one.
But you'll work for free. That sounds pretty bought and paid for.
Again, Stephen's friend before this job, Stephen's friend after this job. I didn't want this to cost you money. I didn't want this to go out and be public for everybody. I did want you to honor your agreement and knock it off. When you refused, I needed to know how far this went. That was it. It would have been the end of it. After 2 hearings that maybe lasted about an hour each, and very minimal work, and a deposition deadline that had expired, you decided to come out and say that we had sued you, which we hadn't. That video...
He never said that you sued him. He said that he was expecting the lawsuit to come. He never said that you had already sued him. He said that you had filed a 202 petition and a request for deposition.
Has he considered that it would be less humiliating to just get like an hour of therapy rather than post this on the internet?
No, because none of the people that work for Stephen believe in therapy. It's all voodoo.
I feel like a lot of hurt and pain in his voice. Like he feels betrayed by his friend. And like, I'm here for it. Like, I'm very sympathetic to that position of like feeling like your friend let you down because he didn't stay in the cult with you. But he needs to reach out to somebody to burst the emotional bubble, you know?
Yeah, and that's the problem with fucking cults. It's a question of, will I have anyone outside of the cult? When I dare speak out, is anyone going to be there for me? Gerald obviously thinks that no one else is going to be there for him, so he's ride or die.
Poor guy.
It's very clear that the only way that we can get to a place of understanding of what your agreement was and that you should honor it is for me to have to sue you. I did not want it to be this way. I take no pleasure in it. No matter what the outcome, I take no pleasure in it. I just want to protect this company and the people that work here. One thing you also need to know, guys, Hilary is behind this entire plan to assimilate the damaging PR assets and wage a negative publicity campaign against Stephen. I'll say it again. That is the plan.
That is Hilary's father's plan. Hilary has never said any of this. This was all stated by her father, who knows that Stephen is a narcissist.
And maybe it's because she's taking bad advice. I don't know. All I know is that the actions have been consistent in rejecting very generous offers. More money than Stephen's ever made in his entire life has been offered. No. More. Every time.
Pause for a second.
Yep.
All right. If Steven's offering more money than he's ever made, how does that make sense? He doesn't have more money than he's ever made in his life. So he couldn't offer more money than he's ever made in his life. What the fuck? Do these people not know how to do math?
I don't. Maybe he's going to borrow against his shares in his principal shares in the company. I don't fucking know. But let's be serious here. If he's never made this much money in his life, if he's never made $5 million, if he doesn't have that, be it in assets or otherwise, why the fuck is he waging this lawfare against his soon-to-be ex-wife? And why is the company waging lawfare against his soon-to-be ex-wife and his former best friend, Jared? Why? If the money isn't there, why are you doing it?
Ego reasons, mostly, if I had to guess.
Apologies for that.
No worries.
Not a problem,
As an-
Ollie.
As a narcissist, Steven's ego has been damaged, and he's lashing out.
Every single time.
Yes, he's lashing out every single time.
I want to just reiterate all of these lawsuits, all of it. I hate it. I hate every single second of it. It does
I
not
don't
give
buy
me
it.
pleasure. I've said it hopefully enough times for you to understand that I don't like doing this. But if it comes down to defending the company and the employees who pour so much of their lives into it, or staying silent while people repeatedly attack us and violate their agreements with us, then you better believe that I am going to fight like hell to defend this company and to defend our ability to communicate with you and to defend Stephen, as imperfect as he is. We are all imperfect.
Yeah, that's Gerald, that's bullshit, and you know it. Yes, everyone's imperfect, but that's like me saying, I'm imperfect while defending a pedo and saying he's imperfect. We're all imperfect. That doesn't fucking fly, Gerald.
Yeah. There are degrees of imperfectness. Some much worse than others.
To the lenses of Steven Crowder, it makes sense. If it's used for him to defend himself, if someone else, no. As Erica said in the past,
Didn't have
rules for thee, not for me. I'm guessing
to be this way.
he seems like that type of person.
There's still time to do the right thing. But I guarantee you what's going to happen again. They're going to attack me and not talk about the facts. They're going to continue to try and wage this campaign against Stephen. Jared, you left in August of 2018. We said nothing about you.
He left in August of 2018 with pretty much all of your staff.
Move on with your life, man. What in the world are you doing? I don't want this line to keep going, but this lawsuit is the only way I feel like we can get any kind of understanding. I'm sorry that it had to happen this way, but it wasn't something that I chose. And look, I'm sorry for all of you who have to hear this drama. We're not...
I'm a couples therapist.
Discuss among yourselves for a minute. I will be right back.
I think this is the longest we've ever spent on a single video before. I guess that shows just how much fucking bullshit there is. But just how dense the bullshit in this video is. It took us 2 fucking hours to get through this half an hour video. It's rather unusual for us. Usually we can get by things, and this whole thing is now taken up about 4 hours. Fuck Stephen Crowder.
It really is an impressive amount of bullshit. And it's unbelievable how angry I am at Stephen, who, again, I haven't heard from since the first video.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Maybe he was taking a leave of absence.
He's probably doing something dreadful with a teenager somewhere.
Probably. Yeah. I lost all respect for Stephen after that thing went down with him in the Daily Wire, where he just like aired all their private like contract, like business offers to him for no reason, to his supposed friends, and then this happened, and now I'd say he lost what little respect I had for him left, but that would imply I had any left, which I didn't. So there's that.
I am not going to pretend to be from the same media ecosphere as you guys are from. I've never once in my life had a moment of respect for Stephen Crowder, and I don't think I'm likely to start now.
Fair enough. How about you, Molly? Were you following this at all outside of the podcast?
Not really, but it's also a bit confusing to like understand. I've been busy packing, so yeah.
Not right. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
It sounded like you were about to ask something.
more like I'm just like trying to think of what would be a good question to like ask about this.
You said it was a bit confusing, so what was confusing? What were you being confused about?
I mean, okay, so I have a right now as well. I don't get the topic of the entire problem, and then I don't get why Steven like exhibits like textbook responses that are usually like given by other fucking people like him. I mean, I guess, yeah.
What do you
Okay,
mean
I'm
by
back.
text? Welcome back.
I mean, it's like this behavior, we've seen this so many times. We've talked about it so many times, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, why does it repeat like in anything important? Like it's always the same. It's like bullshit and it's never fucking honest, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's because it's worked. Like if you have a tactic and it works, then you use it again, and like that's every time it works, you're gonna see it again.
But it's like it's so obvious that it doesn't really work. Unless you're like really stupid or you're really like like a big fan of the person that's
Okay,
saying it.
so my guess is they're relying on two things. The first being that they're expecting that their audience isn't actually going to read the documents they're shown, and they're just going to look at the little highlighted parts, and they're going to trust that, that's all that it contains. And two, they're relying on the fact that the people watching probably want all the things they're saying to be true. So henceforth, they're not going to look too much into it, and they're just going to assume it's true because they want it to be true.
Cult of
And
personality.
This is about intimidating people. This is about being like, oh, you think you can come after me in the court of law? I have a platform. I will talk about what's going on, and I can mislead the court of public opinion, and maybe the judge will side with you, but I can make my goons come after you because they won't know that what I'm saying is misleading.
Lawfare.
Yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
feel like this is more like it's not even damage control. We're just trying to convince as many people to support Crowder before everyone, picks a side.
Yes.
I
And
think
as
we've
I
all,
was saying before, when you were on, Erica, like he'd already suffered a blow to his kind of reputation within the said space after that whole debacle went down with him in the Daily Wire, and then this happens. So I guess
yeah.
you can see why they're in like super damage control mode.
Well, and that's going to be something that we go over when we get into Dave Landau,
Nice.
because we are going to get into Dave Landau. We are going to get into Quarter Black Garrett. I haven't really seen anything from Sven, but the simple fact of the matter is this man loves to blow up his own shit.
And
Now we
it's
only
just been
have
probably
we only have about a minute left in this video.
all right. We actually managed to get through it.
Pleased in any way to be a part of drama. Sometimes it happens and we have to defend ourselves, and we don't shy away from that, even though it's drama. Nobody likes it when
Drama that you started.
conservatives are fighting one another.
He
Nobody
actually
likes
seems quite happy. He seems to be in his element and enjoying what he's talking about. I don't really buy it.
it when people are attacking, and it's just like a terrible episode of network TV. I hate it too. We want to get back to doing the content
kinda
that you
funny
like,
'cause,
and
like,
we will.
He's like saying lies, and he's convincing himself of those lies that he's saying.
Cognitive dissonance.
Mm.
I appreciate a lot of you standing up and saying, hey, I know these guys. There's got to be more to the story. I hope today you found out there is a lot more to this story. A whole lot more.
Bullshit.
There's been a campaign going on for the last year and a half plus where Hilary has been roping people in, people that she hadn't talked to in years and hadn't even really been friends with, to try and damage Steven Crowder and get more than a court would allow. It's time for that to stop. Today has to be the day that that starts to change.
How dare that fish make friends?
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it there because there's really nothing more than platitudes and sanctimonious bullshit that comes out of this man's mouth.
Same old, same old.
Yeah, same old, same old.
Huh.
We've got about 6 more minutes before we have to cut to the music and finish this out. So I'm going to leave off with this for tonight. Next week we will pick up with Landau, Quarter Black Garrett, and before either of those, we're gonna get into Pearl, because Pearl has been standing like major simping for Steven Crowder. I
Of
think she
course.
wants to suck his dick.
Well, I think
Oh, are
it's
you
more
talking
interesting-
about the transformed housewife lady?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think it's just this is a conflict between a man and a woman. So naturally, Pearl is always going to side against the woman because that's what she does. That's her whole
Yeah.
drift. Like that.
Is
That's
she
the
single?
entirety of her shtick.
Pearl, yeah, she's single. She's never had a boyfriend.
Yes.
Well, I mean, there's a motivation right there. Isn't Crowder exactly the kind of asshole she wants to impress?
Yep.
I hope they're very miserable together.
I doubt Crowder would go for her though. Looks seem to matter to him.
Okay, let's be serious here. Let's be serious. Steven has almost always gone for the butterface.
That's true.
And I am not at all dissing Hilary. She is a very beautiful woman and she has 2 amazing children, but she is not that attractive. She is only slightly more attractive than Pearl Davis.
Wow. But does Pearl have anything going on underneath? Like maybe she's got like a saggy booty or something.
Not really. Pearl would be a butterface, except but her body too.
Yeah, right? It's just no all the way.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, I don't think I could live with somebody who dick rides as hard as Pearl like does for conservative men. Like, that's got to be really fucking creepy and undesirable.
And they aren't even conservative men. I mean, she stands for Andrew Tate. That man is not a conservative man.
Well, to answer your question as to why, it goes back to what I said before. In any time where there is a conflict between some man and some woman, she will always side against the woman because it seems that she has found a niche for herself in which doing that will make her decent amounts of money. So she's just gonna do that.
Andrew Tate can try to pass himself off as a conservative man, but he's not.
Yeah.
Steven Crowder
No,
is
because
not.
I watched my Fox News and he was on Fox News one day.
Oh yeah,
And
that
he
makes
passing
people
himself
conservative.
off as a conservative from his many brothels.
Yeah, sex trafficking women is like totally a conservative value. Something be cool, right?
Mhm.
Even
Look at me, I'm a pimp.
even conservatives accept the fact that Fox News is not conservative.
No.
Yeah, you should tell that to my parents, sweetie.
Okay, true conservatives, listen, your parents are fuds and boomers.
I don't know what to tell you. They make up like 30% of the party.
I
May
know
I
they
ask
do.
a question real quick?
Go ahead.
You know, I consider myself a conservative, yet I'm in a loving relationship with a trans woman. What does that say?
You are not a conservative.
You're a hypocrite.
No. Stop
Probably
that.
you think with your dick.
Natalie.
You are a minarchist. You have competitive economic values with heavily anarchist leaning political views with socially progressive beliefs. That is not a conservative.
Mm.
I'm not necessarily sure I'd say that Stoner has socially progressive beliefs, because I think, I mean, from our discussion,
discuss
it
this
seems
after the
in
show.
non-LGBT stuff, you seem fairly conservative in other
Yeah, but
We can discuss this after the show if y'all
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Be it that it is now time to cut to the music and sign out. I would like to start off by asking our wonderful southern roughneck redneck Stoner to say goodnight.
Good night. Say good night, Z. She's neck deep in cyberpunk.
Fair enough.
And then we will
Wow.
go ahead and move to our resident Serbian from the former Soviet state of Serbia. Please say good night, Molly.
Good night, Molly.
And of course, then we will move on to our friend from the Sunshine State, Liz. Please say good night, Liz.
Good night.
And of course, as always, we end with our host, our dirty Frenchy Frenchman from the Soviet state of Kanukistan, Dale. Please say goodnight, Dale.
Good night, everybody. It's been fun. I hope to see you all next time. And with that, I bid you adieu.
And there we have it. We are going to leave you with the music, and we will see you all next weekend.